Hello, welcome. Today we're going to talk about narcissistic mothers and why they need to put themselves in the middle of your life, why they need to insert themselves in your life and make it all about them. So, narcissistic mothers, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lise Colucci, one of the life coaches over at QueenBeeing.com. Head over to QueenBeeing if you need any information or any help or any resources for recovering from a narcissist in your life. So we're going to just get started here with narcissistic mothers. Good old mom in the narcissistic world. So I have a lot of notes here I'm going to be reading from because I got a lot of um, quotes from people who have narcissistic mothers and what they've gone through. I've asked them for permission to talk about this, and so it's all good. So anyway, narcissistic mothers, what are they doing? They are so there's one particular thing I've been thinking on, and that is the way they always seem to weave their way into your life from the time you're a child to the time you all the way as long as you know them. The way it's not just weave their way into your life like in a healthy, normal, your mom can be in your life kind of way. It's in this way that makes it turn the focus back to her. The way that they weave their self into your life to then turn your focus onto her from the time you're little all the way till when you grow up, right? And then some. So why do they do this? Why do they need to like check up and check in with you and make it about them instead of letting you individuate and have your own life? So and how do they do it? It's tricky talking about the moms because the motherhood is sacred thing, because moms are supposed to love you unconditionally, because narcissistic mothers give you the false image of what love is based on how they love, right? And it's hard to then say, well, that mother doesn't love their child, or that mother is not being good to their child, because oftentimes the narcissistic mom is following by the book according to how parenting should look for modern parenting. But what they're doing is taking the information, just like they do with psychology, and twisting it to suit their needs. So, you know how this goes. Okay, so let's see. You're the eldest son of a covert, vulnerable narcissist mother. Yep. I thought you might, I don't want to say enjoy this topic, but relate to this topic. Anyway, and thank you for being here, Jack, and modding the group. So, okay. So they're basically, from the time you're little, they are controlling everything. They're controlling your interactions with other people, what you think about the world around you. They're not allowing you to experience life from an individual viewpoint, from being yourself and experiencing life, and then coming to them with, Mommy, why does this do this? Mommy, this hurts, help me. Mom, like they're not allowing for a natural mother child relationship. What they're doing is conducting you like a puppet, really, and in filling your head, preloading information into your head. They're telling you things before they happen. They're controlling the narrative through directing things and controlling things off into the future. They think they're clever about this, but if you watch, it's really easy to see. They might say something like, "Gosh, it sure is cold out." Like say they know you're going to go on a hiking trip with your father, and you know and so they might be like, "Gosh, it sure is cold out," a week ahead of time. Sure wouldn't want to be out on the woods right now. Whoo, certainly is cold, in order to ruin the trip ahead of time. Like, so that's like a really basic example, but they do this in these like slippery little ways that you don't notice, where you would, if you look at it from afar, you think, oh, she's just warning her child that it might be cold, and they might want to bring a jacket, or they might want to wear warm clothes or whatever, but it's not a preparation. So, hey, it's cold out, guys, let's make sure we got the gear we need ahead of time. It's not a preparation of positivity. She's feeling insecure is what it's about. I'm trying to quiet the dog. Hey, Tess. Hey. Anyway, well, let's let her be. Trying to control the dialogue, trying to control you through setting it up ahead of time so that you already don't like the thing. So that you're already, and then where do you have to go for looking to what the world should be about? Her. So they pre-program everything so that you look to them to ask what the world is, to ask how things should be. They're creating dependency on them through all of these manipulations. It's all about their own insecurity as a human being, as a mother, as whatever, because they need the focus on them. Okay. So people say, can a narcissist be a good mother? My answer is going to be pretty black and white here. No. And here's why. A truly narcissistic person with narcissistic personality disorder. Can mothers with low levels of narcissism? Probably. Can parents in general who have low level narcissism be good parents? Probably. Yeah, probably in some ways. In some ways, and in some ways not. We all have our stuff, right? I'm talking about narcissistic mothers who have narcissistic personality disorder, who are higher up on the spectrum of narcissism, and um who everything is filtered through their ego and their own insecurities, their own need for attention, their own need for supply. How It's like any relationship with a narcissist. Can it ever be healthy? No, it can't, because the dynamic of a relationship takes multiple people. It takes you and the other person, or you and whoever's involved. In a family, the narcissistic mother controls the family through her narcissism, through her controlling, through her gaslighting, through her manipulating, and all of the tactics every narcissist uses. And so, therefore, none of these relationships, including your familial relationship, can be healthy until you separate from that narcissist and try and form relationships on individual basis with the other rest of your family, and try and form that with the knowing that you've been programmed by the narcissistic person, and you're going to have to work really hard to have good sibling relationships, to have good relationships with the non-toxic parent, because it's everything that you've been taught is filtered through her narcissism. She is loading your head full of programming that then is how you relate to everyone else in the world. And they create loyalty binds so that your loyalty, I have a whole video on loyalty binds. Please go watch it if you don't know what I'm referring to here, but it's an unhealthy loyalty attachment to another person based on things that are put into place, guilt trips, um, all kinds of things. It's a long topic, so go find that video. I will try and link it as well somewhere on here. So it is so no, it can't be healthy. So what do you do? What do you do when you're in it? You're stuck. You're a kid. You're an adult now and you lived through it. Whatever. You work to undo the programming and see her actions for what they are based on who she is. And then it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with her need for supply, her need to be the center of attention, her need to be controlling, her need to fill the role of a mother and do it in a way that everyone in the world thinks she's fantastic, for the rest of the world to see her as perfect in her, how it is with them. Okay, so what am I saying about narcissist mothers filtering the world through their own insecurities? Yes, I saw this both with my mom and her grandmother. Okay. So, okay, what do I say here? I said, so here's the thing. Often what we do in our modern parenting is look to the modern parenting ideal. What has not worked in the past, like if you look at all parenting nowadays and you look at like what's not worked in the past, if we had hard upbringings, we do our best to educate ourselves on like, okay, I didn't know how to do it because I wasn't shown, so let me figure it out, let me learn. Okay, so but the problem with an art, you'd think, oh, that's great because we have all these modern parenting tools out there, we have so much education and so much awareness of psychology now, and so much sensitivity, and so much, our society is so, at least American society is so filled with all of that, all of this psychological awareness, this, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we have the tools out there, and you'd think, great, finally the narcissistic mother can have a template to how to at least fake it, right? But no, the problem is they take this information, and just like they do when you go to therapy with them, they will use the information to twist it around to focus it back on themselves and then look like the good guy. So it's provable. So if they do something like, say they're giving praise, and say they have a golden child and they're giving praise, and they say, and they're They have a child that they just throw all their praise into. They won't allow the child to just have the experience of something that gives the child self-pride and self-validation. They validate the child like we are taught to do in modern parenting, right? But they do it in a way that subtly turns it back to them. I'm so proud. Look how well you've done this thing that we worked on together. Whatever it is, they'll twist the words to somehow bring themselves into it. It's not just, wow, that's a great job. That's fantastic. You did this thing. How do you feel about it? There's never a question of how do you feel about it because they can't do that. And if they do say that, it's still thrown back into you talk to me, you be my secret confidant. I'm the one that controls your emotional state. Does that make sense? They do it in a way it isn't. So if they look at the book and they say, and you say, Mom, why did you do this to me? They'll show you the book. They'll show you the information, the articles. They'll be like, go Google it. It's a good thing for me to praise you and give you validation. You see, they can twist everything because everything that they do is filtered through the lens of narcissism. They can't act outside of it. They can only act from ego, from self-protection, from their own insecurities, and from their own need to control everything and have everything come back to being about them. Even when they say things like it's for your well-being, it's for the child's well-being, what they mean is it's for my well-being, but it serves my relationship with my child. It's not about the child as an individual. Does that make sense? I hope, because, and if you've experienced this, you know what I'm talking about. It's so subtle. Sometimes it's not subtle at all. Sometimes it's so obvious, but it can be very covert and very confusing because here you have this person you're supposed to look to as a mother. And I don't know, I work with people in coaching a lot who have had narcissistic mothers, and this is kind of a theme I hear where there's a conflict inside themselves. This is sort of cognitive dissonance, right? Of, but she's my mom. And what's that even mean? Right? Okay. I can't see the link, Jack. So hopefully it is. If not, I'll find it and put it in the I'll put it somewhere, maybe at the end tag or something. No, the title of the link I was talking about is called Loyalty Binds. Let's see. Anything else? Hey, Ella. Okay, so let's keep going about narcissistic mothers. So that's enough of that. We get what they're doing, right? We kind of can see how they use things. So a narcissistic mother needs to have herself woven into your life. They need to constantly be drawing the attention back to themselves, even when you're off with your friends, when you're off at college, even when you're at work, when you're married, they'll insert themselves in your marriage. But see, then they can say, but family matters, family's everything. Why wouldn't you talk to your mother? You see, it's always twisted in a way that makes it look like you're doing something wrong by feeling her invasion in your life and wanting it out. And it's so different than someone checking in with you like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you need something? Hey, how you doing? I just want to know, they can say I love you in a way that feels like obligation to give them something back. There is something about it. There's something about the way they are that is so pulling of your attention and your affection and your focus and and all of that, right? So, okay. Um, so let's look at some things they might do and some examples. Hey, Michelle. My friend Darlene opened my mind to narcissistic people. My ex, yep, it all fits. I recently had my eyes open to my mother. Absolutely true. Cut my mother completely out of my life. My life is better that way. It's the unfortunate truth for most people. I have to say, when I sit in group coaching, and we have a mix of people who are in narcissistic relationships, so they're with a narcissist in a romantic relationship, and those that come from or their primary narcissist is their mother or father. And I often see, for some reason, I talk to more people with the mothers, and I don't know why that is, but that's what comes out a lot. But fathers as well. Anyway, what I see in group is people will say, "Oh, this group's only about romantic relationships. I don't fit." I say, "Give it 10 minutes. See if you can apply what you're hearing to your experience with your mom, not the romantic parts, just the manipulation parts." And it fits hand in glove every time. People say, "Wow, I wasn't even that's not even my story, and I can relate." And vice versa. The people will talk about their mothers, and people who have romantic relationships will say, "That mother does exactly what my narcissist, who is my husband, does. Only it's my husband, not my mom." Right? So it all works together. And the thing is that when you are in a relationship with a narcissist that is your partner of some sort in life, or a friend, or even a coworker or a boss, you are so focused on that because that's your immediate suffering, right? That's your immediate struggle, that sometimes it can be the thing as you're healing from it, that you look back and you go, "Oh my gosh, this has been my whole life. This has been how I was raised. This is my mom or this is my dad." Right? And then it gets like, "Oh my gosh, they've been around me always. What's going on?" So yeah, it can be eye-opening. And that's true too, Michelle, feeling guilty as she passed on 2 years ago, but I'm working on it and it breaks my heart. The guilt that these mothers instill in you, it's phenomenal. This is so normal, Michelle, to have that much guilt even after, even with someone who was emotionally hurting you your whole life, who was emotionally manipulating you your whole life. And you're the one feeling guilt about doing what? Nothing. About having to break contact maybe with someone that hurts you. You know what I mean? Like, we feel guilt, they just keep on going being horrible, and we're left stuck carrying the guilt. So, I'm glad you're working on that because that's a big thing, and we can talk about guilt another day here because maybe that will help people, but it's a big thing they leave you with. It's their gift. Yeah. Their gift to you. Package it back up and return to sender is what I say. All right. It was a huge eye opener, says Fender Gal, when I made the connection in therapy that my mom is a narcissist. Every man I've dated was one. This is what I see in coaching as well. Often, I don't tell people what their parent is or isn't. They make the discovery. They say, "Wait a minute, mom did this, this, and this. Are those narcissistic traits?" And I can say yes or no, right? Like, I can't diagnose, but I can say, "It sounds like maybe there's something to look at there. I don't know," and then they will often discover, "Yeah, that's what's been going on." Or they do it in therapy and they'll come to me and go, "Okay, I've got I've got this line of them. How do I keep it out? What do I do?" All right. So, um, the thing is, Ella has a really good thing here. The thing is that you can divorce your partner, but not your mom. That is partially true. And that is true because divorce is a legal contract that you can get out of through legal means. You can go no contact with your parent. It is not easy. It is not simple. It can often take help from the outside to figure out how to do it in a way that works for you. You can go low contact with a parent. Totally acceptable. In my book, they shouldn't have had a parenting card. Okay? In my book, they've thrown away their right to you when they didn't quit emotionally abusing, when they didn't figure out what I'm okay, everyone has a it is a tough job being a mom. It is a tough job being a parent, right? We all make mistakes. We all do things we wish we hadn't done. We go through phases in our life, we go through changes, we go through difficult times. We have ups and downs. We're human, right? We all have there is room and within the relationship to make mistakes, to make amends, to figure it out, to focus here, to focus that, to make changes and to grow. Problem is they don't. They just stay the same and they expect the world to conform to them. In that case, by the time you're an adult, if they haven't been able to meet you at least part way and say, "Wow, I need to be accountable to some things here," and work it through with you, that's there's no point, right? And you have a right to spiritually divorce it, right? To say, "I'm stepping out from this," to keep yourself safe. So, yes, you can divorce one, but not the other. Both have their challenges on how to go no contact or how to go low contact. All right. Um, Okay, I figured it out that my mother was a narcissist after 2 relationships. Yeah, it's and this is it. It because narcissistic mothers, you don't think my mom's out to get me. You don't think my mom's all about herself. Who thinks that as a kid? You think I'm safe in mom's view. And the thing about narcissistic mothers is often they will create a world where you turn to them. They create the anxieties that you feel, and then they become the source to fix those anxieties. It is a form of love bomb devalue. It's the same cycle. Give your kid anxieties over something and then be the person they turn to when they have those anxieties. What does that make mommy? Super important, super critical. So the one thing that can fix everything. So then you grow up and you think, well, my mom was always there helping me with, oh, wait a minute. She installed the buttons. She pushed the buttons and then she pretended the buttons weren't installed by her and fixed the problem. They create dependency, they create learned helplessness. They make children, they either do that or they push you away and make you grow yourself up. Okay. So I'm talking, there's different types of narcissistic mothers. Absolutely. So some of this may not fit. If you were the scapegoat, if you were if you were the scapegoat and they had enough other people in their life to be the Goldens, right? Or if you were the lost child, you most likely saw it and you stepped out a long time ago and raised yourself, right? That doesn't mean you had a mom. Okay. And so yes, this can be wildly different looking, but the same things apply. So if in a scapegoat situation, they may install the anxiety button, push on it, and then when you come to them, push harder on it and make you feel like it's your fault, and then you have to fix it. But you're still turning to them because they're mom, right? Okay. So um so I'm going to read some examples of some stuff that narcissistic mothers have done to people. And maybe these fit your life, maybe they don't, but we'll just listen. Okay, so mom convinced me to divorce my husband, told me I could live in the family house and would love to see me free and happy. Now, I don't know the situation of how the marriage was going, but I do not believe this person was married to a narcissist at this time. I think it was just a difficult marriage, or not just, but you know what I mean. Um, she pulled the rug out from underneath, though, once the ex paid out on the marital ending, right? So basically, it sounds like mom convinced this person to get a divorce from a husband, knowing that there'd be a payout, and then demanded I give the money plus more to buy the house. So, hey, get divorced. Oh, look, she'll have a settlement in the divorce. Oh, she can use that divorce and settlement money that I convinced her to get to buy the house I'm letting her live in. Meaning, and then there's a second part to that. That house would have been my inheritance. Buy your inheritance now for pennies on the dollar, right? Oh my goodness. Manipulation through finances. Uh-huh. Okay. Um she says forcing me to stay in the home that would have been my inheritance and say it in writing that it even once I own it, still a portion of that property is hers. So I'm going to let you buy my house, but I'm going to keep a little piece for myself since you don't own it outright. So it is never yours. So I always have some say in your life because you can't do it on your own, dear daughter. No, or son, you can't. You can't. You need me. You need me there guiding and doing all these amazing things that I do for you when I let you do this and then take it back. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And see, here's the thing. Inheritance. Let's talk about that a second. It's not owed to you. Here's the thing. Narcissistic mothers have held it over your head, or fathers, for your whole life. So in a sense, you've been raised to believe you're going to get something. This is it's like I think of it like lineage. Not so much that people who are like, "What? I didn't get an inheritance, right?" They're not greedy. What it is they've been set up their whole life to believe there's this lineage, there's this family tradition of taking care of the family, taking care of the next generation. Things get harder, things get more expensive. We need to make sure our children have what they need. And they tell you these things in ways that it's like what they're basically saying is, look what I have. It's all yours too when the time comes. Don't worry. As long as you behave, it's something to hold over your head, and they've held it over people's head for so long that when the time comes or when there's something like this going on, it becomes a really big issue, not because the person's like, entitled and wanting what's theirs, because they've had that thing held over their head their whole life. I know people who walk away from it. I know who people who fight for it in different. I mean, it can be it's manipulative. Yeah. You're in the middle of inheritance manipulation right now. It's also playing out though. Mom's hooves. Okay, Hoover's your oldest kid. Yeah, you see, they just keep playing it. Okay. Mom told me if I lived in my family house, I was not allowed to marry. I was 44. And by family house, they mean renting the house from like on their own, not living with the mom. Okay. So, and even then, who has a right? Even if you have the kind of situation where you live with your mom because of whatever your situation is in life, sometimes it's finances, sometimes it's need, sometimes it's health, sometimes it's just the way your family works. There's no judgment, right? This you can live in any living situation you want, and especially with what houses cost right now, right? So, no judgment at all whatsoever for your living situation. However, no one has a right at 44 to tell you whether you're going to date, whether you're not going to date, who you're going to marry. I know of narcissistic mothers who their child, who is an adult, rents a room in a house because of different life situations. They rent a room in the house. They can't get out because of finances, because it's very difficult where they live to. It's a lot of different reasons. Okay, there's legitimate reasons, and it's this person's choice and life. Okay, so cool, whatever. Live in the house. Do their best to keep separate. Do their best to keep the contact as minimal as possible while living under the same roof. And every time they date, mom makes a stink. Where are you? You're a terrible person. You're a terrible, you should be here cleaning the house. You should be doing that. You forget me. You do that like every time. So, yeah. And it doesn't matter how old you are, they'll keep doing it. They want you for themselves. You're a piece of them. You're not an individual. The problem with narcissistic mothers is they don't allow their children to individuate. This is what I see over and over again is enmeshment to these toxic mothers. Narcissistic mothers love enmeshment. They create enmeshment. They will create it with their own parents. I've seen a narcissistic woman who treats her mother like it's her child. In other words, her mother's her puppet. Her mother's her yes man and her enabler. Yes woman and her enabler. Right? Yeah, they enmesh. That's what they do. That's how they control you. They force you they manipulate you because they're your mother into this kind of relationship. Okay, another thing they might do is your stuff, your life, your friends, your children. Make it their own. So that's not your kid, like you're saying here, hoovering your daughter. Somebody says constantly makes comments on my kids. They have her nose. They have her hair, her eyes. Oh, they laugh just like her. In other words, look at little me sitting there. It skipped a generation in you horrible person, but look at my little me sitting in the corner. Her dislikes, her likes. She absolutely refuses to accept the fact that my son is an exact clone of his dad. Right? Yeah. Mhm. They need that, and they do this with their own children, their golden children, is they mini me, right? They want the mini me, they want the minion. They often will turn their golden child into an enabler through this. You're just like me. Uh, I can't even tell you what this feels like. This feels like I'm who? I'm like you, and it feels good because you see them as proud and like you see their narcissist as a child. You often see their narcissistic manifestations, their egoism, their um, boldness, or whatever they've got, right, as a strength because they're teaching you it's a strength. And so when they say you're like me, you think, oh, then I must be blah, blah, blah. But then once you've hooked to that, the second they say they disapprove of you, you're knocked off the pedestal of being like them and you're on the ground and you don't know who you are because you were never allowed to be you. Does that make sense? Horrible. Okay, that's your narcissistic mom claims my daughter is her mini her. And they if they don't do it to you, they do it to their grandkids, right? My mom treats her daughter as if she's her daughter. When a baby, she referred over and over and over and over to the child as my baby. Mhm. Accused me of breastfeeding on purpose so that she wasn't able to feed her. Uh-huh. As a new mom, that's the last thing anyone needs. So let's take away this thing you're choosing to do for your child as a positive and make it about me. Look what you're doing. You're la, 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 la. I've told the same thing, not by my mom, by someone else. You're doing that so no one else can feed the child. What? Yes, that was my first thought. I know what I'll do. I'll do this so no one else can feed the child. The heck? Get a spoon, wait till they eat. You know what I mean? Come on. Yeah, it's yeah. So this is where the narcissistic mother, when you have a child, all of her jealousies, all she's lost her place in your life. Think about it. Narcissistic mom is the beacon, the matriarch, who we look up to, who we want to be around, blah, 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 because they force us to, right? Then you have a kid and your attention goes whoom, onto this child. Boom, I have a child. My attention's on my baby. It's not on you anymore, mom. That's natural and normal and healthy for an adult to take your relationship that it used to be you're the child and become the mother if you're a woman. And, if you are a mother, right? Become a parent and mother or father, let's put it that way, become a parent and then be the adult to the child. You still have your relationship with your parent if you have a healthy relationship, but it changes. It has a new face. Your parent, a healthy relationship with a parent. The parents get to see their child become a parent. They watch while you do what they did for you. That's how it should work, right? They interact in a very respectful way, in a way of a grandparent. They don't try to step in and now take the attention. I almost cussed there. Take the attention of that baby and put it on them and push you out of the role that you rightfully belong in. Sorry, getting heated. But these narcissistic mothers, I feel like, are so much the cause of so much of everything that, yeah. Um, you were the golden, that was when, then I was a scapegoat, now I'm the black sheep, and that's how it works. That's how it works often, what you just said there. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about the roles and how they change another day soon, okay? Because it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, if you look at it from far away, it's fascinating. If you're living it, it's horrible. I was the only latchkey kid, and she stayed home and spoiled my siblings. That's why I sought approval from men like her. It's interesting, right? Every person in your family had a different reaction and a different response to her toxicity. Um, let's see. What are we saying here? I was grandma's golden child because I was seen as a replacement son. My mom was wicked jealous of that. Oh yeah, because I became the scapegoat. But mom, do you see how it is? It's all about attention. It's all about supply. When we say why does a narcissist hoover? Why does a narcissist discard then want me back? Why does a narcissist want new supply? Why does a narcissist, how can they do this to me? And we say it's all about supply. It's really not about you. This is kind of what we mean. Why does a narcissistic mother need to insert herself in your life the way she does? Why does she not let you individuate? Why does she not let you be your own person? Why does she use psychology and modern parenting techniques and like articles she finds on Google about parenting and twist them to suit her and then use them with you so that she looks good in the world? Supply. It's all about supply. It's all about attention going to her. All right. Um, let's see. One more example. My mother used to ask my opinions on things, what I wanted for dinner, what color. Oh, this is good. What color I wanted my bedroom, how I wanted my hair. How would you like this? In other words, I'm teaching my daughter or son to be to have an opinion. I'm teaching them to express themselves. To what's the word that? Oh my gosh, the narcissistic mother term that they that I mean, it's a good term, but when they use it, it's not so good. To self advocate, teaching them to self advocate. Here's how they twist it. Here's one way they twist it. Listen. Then she wouldn't let me have it that way. She would say, "It wasn't what I really wanted. What I really want, what I'm doing here is just listening to my friends and what my friends want and what's trendy or what's fashionable. It's not what I really want. You're just saying that you like those things." That's one way. Another way is to have preloaded the argument so that if you say anything, preloaded the discussion. In other words, I really like purple walls. Purple walls, here's an article on why purple walls are the most soothing thing you can have in a bedroom. Did you know that royalty has purple walls? And then a month later, what color do you want to paint your bedroom? I want my bedroom yellow. What? Well, did you not read that? Well, you can do that, but or you say, I want purple walls because you've been taught to be people pleasing. You're afraid to say something otherwise because it's already been loaded in there. It's been programmed. And you're afraid of making mom mad. If you have a raging mom, you're afraid of making her mad. So, yeah. All right, you guys. This has been fun. Any questions? Anything you want to talk about related to anything or narcissistic mothers, if that's what you want to talk about? I'll just let you know that we're coming up on the month beginning already. Gosh, it goes fast. So I always talk about group coaching a little bit more this time. If you need help with anything one-on-one, well, I have one-on-one coaching as well. So that's always available. Check it out in the main description of every video. But there's also group coaching. Some people do benefit from having a group of people. What we do in group is we sit on Zoom with all our little boxes and we talk individually one-on-one. So I'm here and then boop, 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 boop. So each person talks and has a turn if they choose. Some people listen, some people talk, some people do both. It really depends on what they need, who they are, and what's going on in the moment. And there's community built, there's understanding, there's listening. Like I was saying, that a lot of people will listen and it will start setting off light bulbs. It will start awakening memories. It will start helping the clarity come into place so that just from listening to other people's stories and listening to the coaching that goes on between me and the other person. So if you need that, it's available. Check it out. It is $60 a month. It's 4 weeks. We meet 3 times a week though. So, I say it's 15 a week, but really it's $5 it's $5 a meeting. So there's that. And it is ongoing. No need to, you can start anytime. So if you need it, there it is. Okay. In the main description of every video. I guess that's it. Hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up, watch the next videos coming up. I'm going to try and give it a bit. I'll try and link the loyalty binds at the end screen here. So we'll do that. And yeah, I think that's it. Anything else? This is a good one. Excellent. Okay, I don't see anything. If I missed anything, please type it real quick and I will answer. Otherwise, I'm going to head out. You've gone Meemaw Dragon. I've gone no contact with my 80-year-old mom. Am I bad? Honey, no, you're not bad. You're not bad. Okay. You're doing what I'm assuming mom's toxic, or you wouldn't have done that. I'm going to assume you're here for a reason and that you found this topic for a reason. Okay. So let's assume narcissism or toxic mom. No, you're doing what you need to do for your life. You have a life to live too. And if people in it are toxic, they can just get the heck out, right? No matter what their title is, no matter what their name is, you have to be good to your children. You just do. You don't, what am I trying to say? It's not an entitled place just because you carry the title of mom. You make the choice for your life. Some people choose low contact, some people choose no contact, and some people stay in it. The people that stay in it, they're drowning. All right. The people that can do low contact, I have a lot of people in group coaching who do low contact with a parent. And we talk about it a lot, ways to disengage, um, ways to gray rock, ways to have a life of your own, how to keep your mouth shut and only give need to know information, right? How to separate, how to feel like you're your own person and a good person, even though you're not having this maternal child bond. When you go no contact, it's the same thing. You're just choosing to not engage at all. And you need it for your own sanity often. There are plenty of people. I mean, Angie talks about going no contact all the time. I don't consider her bad. Do you? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, I have no contact with people. I don't care what their title is. I don't care what their position is. I don't care what they've done for me. All right. If they're toxic, goodbye. So, does that make sense? You feel bad. She's sick and has a lot of monkeys. Then she has a lot of people, doesn't she? Try to see. Okay, go watch the loyalty bind video if you want. Um, I don't know if you're in therapy to talk this through. Guilt, and I would like to do a video on guilt really soon because this guilt that comes from leaving a parent who is a narcissist. It's what I hear, Nima, in every person who goes no contact or low contact even, um, from a narcissistic parent, especially a mother. I hear it over and over and over. So if nothing else, it's completely normal to feel the guilt you're feeling. It's been programmed into you that you're supposed to take care of her needs. It's been programmed into you that you're supposed to respect her. You're supposed to give her blah 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 because she is what she is. It's been all of this has been programmed by her into you. All right. Um, Healthy mothers don't do that. So I think it's maybe maybe talking it through with someone, maybe keep talking about it here. Um, I think that would be I would need to talk more, like, to get into it a little more to help any more than that. But it's normal to feel that, and it's the unfortunate side effect, right? So you're not bad. You're not bad. I know you feel bad. Maybe telling yourself, I realize I feel bad, but I'm not bad. I need to have my own life. It's time to be free from narcissism. Um, yeah, okay. Been married a narc man for 40 years, 9 weeks free. Oh, yes, yes. Well, join the group coaching if you can. It might help you. So, um, getting some support. That's what I would suggest for you. In whatever form you feel comfortable, whoever you feel comfortable with, get yourself some support there because it sounds like you jumped from the frying pan into the fire with the marriage right after a toxic parent. 41 years is a long time to be under narcissism plus, the years with a parent. So what you're feeling is normal and the guilt is normal. It's not, you're not bad. You're just not. I don't know what else to say other than that right now. Um, yeah, let's see. Okay. I need to head out because, oh, yeah, I got to go. So I will be back tomorrow. I would like to talk about guilt sometime soon. Um, and anything you need. So if you need anything, leave it in the main comments, not in the chat, so I can see it clearly. And if you have a topic or anything you want me to talk about, happy to do it if I can. And that's it. So I'll see you guys later. Bye. Take care.